So welcome back to my next session. Now unfortunately our sort of family plans have changed this weekend, but fortunately it means I've managed to get myself out on the bank for a few days fishing. So first and foremost, this weekend for 24 hours I am at Whelford Pools Fishery. Now I visited this place a few weeks ago, and if you haven't seen my video yet, feel free to go and check it out. I managed to bag myself a hat-trick of scaly Cotswold carp. Now this weekend I intend on trying to do the same. It's really busy. The top half of the lake where I was fishing last weekend is pretty much full to the brim with anglers. So I have come down and dropped my bucket into peg number 1. Now this is right out the way of any other angling pressure. I've got a nice corner to play with, reed-lined corner, nice big overhanging tree as well, nice marginal sort of area to play with. And I've seen, whilst talking to a couple of anglers just a couple of pegs up, one show pretty much the other side of this tree. Just get over to the car, grab me bits and pieces, and get myself set up and fishing. What I think I'm going to do to start with is just get a rod out and just fish it sort of singly down to my left hand side where I see that show, and just see if I can nick an early bite, sort of early doors. But I need to go get me stuff first, so let's go and grab all that and we can think about setting up for the 24-hour session ahead. As you would have seen, that is the net and sling and mat and all that business dipped. So as you can see in the background, just make sure you use that every time you come to Whelford Pools. Give it a good washing off, and that'll make sure the stock in here and obviously everywhere else that you visit is safe from all those nasties that can wipe out fisheries and kill all those beautiful fish that obviously we all love to go and fish for. So I'm back in the swim. It's a very quick journey, as you can see. Literally the gate is there, I'm here. So probably could have not even bothered with the barrow, but I thought I'd just fish off the barrow for now. There are a couple of other swims that I could potentially move to if I wanted to, but at the moment I am going to concentrate my efforts on swim number 1. Now, as I said, just the other side of this tree, whilst I was speaking to the 2 anglers just a couple of swims down from me, one did bosh out. So I'm going to just get one solid bag rod ready and just lower it down over this tree for the sort of next hour or so, hour, 2 hours. I'm in no rush to get anything else set up, and just see if I can nick myself an early bite. That's the solid bag made. I'm literally going to just be reaching out, lowering it down. So it's not the prettiest, but it's going to do a job. It's crammed full of the new Baitworks The Edge pellet mini mix. So first time out in session using the new pellet. Ever faithful Sea Monster wafter hook bait, and a nice big size 4 barbless hook. So let's get this one lowered in. I'll just fish the rod on the deck for now, and we'll see if anything happens over the next couple of hours. Certainly going some out there. Like I say, there's that little island, and just pretty much, where are we? Just like in line here with this sort of debris that's just popping along on, you know, floating around on top of the water. There's been a good 3 or 4 plumes of bubbles, as you would have seen on that little video, on that little clip. But yeah, he's asking for a bag to be deposited on top of it, put it that way. So that will be both rods out then, and I can just sit on them for a couple of hours and see what happens really. But yeah, let's talk in. Let's get another bag knocked up. See, I've had to chuck the brolly up. We are due sort of heavy showers throughout the day, and yeah, before we could even get this second solid bag made up, yeah, we had the first of many, no doubt. So chucked the brolly up, just got everything in. It's taken seconds, tried to do it as quietly as possible, just not to obviously cause any sort of marginal disturbance, because that rod is still out. But yeah, I've made the second rod up. If you would have seen my previous Whelford video from around sort of 3 weeks ago, these 2 rods are set up in exactly the same way. I've got the leadless leaders tied on, 2.5 ounce inline lead, another pink sea monster wafter hook bait, and a small solid bag crammed full of the new Baitworks mini mix. So I'm going to flick this one out now. I've poked my head around the brolly a couple of times and they're still blowing up out there. So I'm going to go and flick this amongst them. Well, as you can hear, it is absolutely lashing down. I've got both the rods out, both on sticks. Now, rather than just being upside down, I managed to get the sticks in the very hard ground. But yeah, as you can see, it is yeah, it's hammering down. I've been sort of stood out there whilst it was a little bit lighter. Oh, the rod that I put out first, where I said I saw that show, has gone rattling off just as I was speaking to camera. The rod was hooped round, it was going some over the surface, and we got a nice chunky mirror in the net, and it's absolutely lashing down. As I was about to mention, I'm glad I was kind of sat in the brolly with my coat on, because yeah, I would have been absolutely wet through. Oh, get in, look at that, get in there. I managed to just sort of unhook it in the net, slip the hook out of its mouth, and he's just resting in the net there, whilst I get everything else sorted. Isn't going to be great for photography with the rain absolutely lashing down. I'm going to try and maybe make some sort of makeshift shelter to try and get some filming in that done. But oh my god, I'm absolutely buzzing. Come off that first rod, got to lower it down into the margin. Like I said, I see a fish show, but look at him, what a result. I said to myself I wanted to come to Whelford's for a biggie this weekend, and I've just bagged myself this awesome £20 mirror. Oh, so happy. I was kind of looking at the weather, and it said basically the rain was going to clear from about 2 o'clock onwards, so I said to myself I'll sit on it for an hour and a half, see what's happening, and then I'll probably get the deeper out and have a little look in front of me. But I think one of my rods, the decision has been made already. Stick it straight back down that margin. What a lovely, clean, plump fish. Oh, look at him. Look at that. Get in there. Within a couple of hours of having the rods out. What a result. Solid bag, sea monster wafter, hasn't let me down yet. And another one to add to the tally. Well, it's absolutely lashing it down now. There was a very small sort of window of opportunity to get a solid bag made and get it back out whilst it was dry, and I missed that. So trying to get that rod back out in this torrential rain was yeah, challenging. Solid bags and absolutely lashing it down really don't mix well, but it went out, it went down straight back onto the spot where I just had it from, and I think for the next hour or so I'm just going to sit tight under the brolly get myself a little spot of lunch on the go, and hope they mooch back in. I did have a few liners on that right-hander as well, so you never know, they might just well be down in this area. But yeah, it's absolutely lashing it down. I'm absolutely buzzing. I've had that 20-pounder, and let's keep everything crossed that we can nick 1 or 2 more. One has just washed out right here. Right here. One has just nutted out nice and tight to these reeds. So I am going to have this right-hander in. We had a few liners on that earlier, but I want to obviously investigate that now, because that's been a good half hour, 45 minutes since that one had any sort of activity on it. But yeah, one has just literally thrashed out right along the edge of them reeds. But what I like about this corner is that it goes in to a nice little sort of bay in here, so you never know, they may have just cruised in here, out the way of the pressure from all the other lines. And if I keep myself nice and tucked back, lines nice and slack, those fish might just feel comfortable and end up in this corner. So I'm going to get the rod back out, get the rod in even, get it sorted, get the rod back out, but over to this area, and seeing if yeah, just dropping one in that little entrance to that little bay there. Well, finally the rain has stopped. Managed to get that rod out over to where I saw that fish show as well. First cast, which was nice. And not only that, look at the state of this. Absolutely sopping wet. I'm glad I brought spare clothes with me. Absolutely wringing wet t-shirt. Everything is soaked to the bone. I had to sacrifice, or I actually think there's a puddle in there. Yeah, full on puddle inside there. Jacket, well, that's just, yeah, a sopping wet mess. And I had to sacrifice obviously the ground sheet to make myself a makeshift tent to keep all this gear nice and clean and tidy and dry. So yeah, I've got a feeling the rain may have passed now. It's looking a lot clearer up there. But yeah, time to try and at least air a few things out, so they have yeah, they dry out in some way, shape or form. But yeah, I'm not complaining with a 20-pounder in yeah, in the net, so I'm not going to cry about that too much. But it's looking good out there now, so let's just hope 1 or 2 mooch down here and come across my couple of solid bags that have gone out. So fingers crossed for the rest of the session. Afternoon has drawn on. It's around 10 to 6 now, and sort of fizzing up and general activity, sort of fish activity, has kind of died off really. So I'm going to stick one rod obviously down the margin where I had that fish from. That's a given, but I want to just find somewhere to put this right hand rod for the evening. It might just go straight back over to the reeds, but what I want to do is just explore what's out in front of me in this little corner, really just get an idea for sort of depths, any variations on the lake bed, a bit like I've done a few weeks ago out in sort of peg in front of peg 18. Found that sort of raised sort of hump area which done me a fish. So yeah, I've got the 10-foot utility rod ready to go. I've got my chirp mounted on, ready to go, phone on the phone holder, and just got to get this in the water and pair it up. So what I want to do is just make sort of half a dozen casts really in this little sort of section of water that I've got, and yeah, just get an idea for what's going on out there sort of below the surface. Now that it's now that it's a bit brighter and not anywhere near as wet, I can actually just chuck the deeper around without my phone dying of being drowned by the rain, and just get an idea about, like I say, the lay of the land and what's in front of me. So I'm not going to go mental, just want to see if there is anything sort of down there that may be just a little bit different that can buy me a bite really. So as you can see, that sun is breaking through those clouds. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to flick the deeper out, see what I can find, and then get the rods freshened up, ready for the evening. Well, what have I found then with the deeper? Well, I've pretty much found out that it's pretty it's pretty barren out there really of any sort of features. Marginal slopes, the sort of 3.5 down to 4.5 down to 5 foot, just over 5 foot, and pretty much the central open water area of what's in front of me is just 5 foot. No features whatsoever. No, deeper holes, shallower plateaus, anything like that. It is pretty much, like I say, 3.5 to 4 foot, just sloping down to 5, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3 there or thereabouts. But just show you sort of on the deeper, just speed that up ever so slightly. But yeah, as I'm sort of trying to get no reflection as I'm casting out, obviously you can see that it starts off deeper, and as I'm obviously reeling it in, it's coming up the marginal slope to, like I say, 3.5 foot, and I cast it back out, obviously the other towards the reeds, that sort of thing. It's around 3.5, 4 foot, obviously around the reed area, slopes back down into that 5 foot of water, and then back up from into my bank into that 3.5, 4 foot again, casting it out to the margin, 4.5 down to the 5 foot, and then obviously back up to my margin. So it's just a repeat. Like I say, I've fanned it from sort of left to right in front of my swim, and like I say, it's pretty much a reoccurring theme throughout really. If I put it over to the far margin, it's the same as kind of what's in front of me. So I did plonk it down to where I had that fish earlier this morning, and it's around sort of 3.7, 3.8, so nearly 4 foot of water. But yeah, that fish was happy scooting in and around under my feet and hoovering up that solid bag. So yeah, I'll just give me a little bit of food for thought how tight I actually go, obviously to the opposite sort of bank where those reeds are, as it is, like I say, only sort of 3.5 foot. So if I come off sort of like half a rod length, I will be down in the sort of 4s, and then pushing obviously nearly the 5 as it slopes down ever so slowly. So yeah, it's worth, like I say, worth half a dozen casts just to get an idea about what's in front of me. I did underarm one a little bit further where I see all that sort of that line of sort of fizzing up from the corner of the island to the reeds, and yeah, wondering if there was a a slightly raised area sort of from the corner of the island to the margin, but no, nothing again. It was just, like I say, it was flat. So yeah, nothing unfortunately in this swim that I could pinpoint as an area that I'd want to sort of drop this rod. What I might do is there is a little gap in the bushes just to my right, which allows you to sort of stand and look into this sort of like corner bay area. So what I might do is just take one of the rods once I've got them in, and just have a little sort of plop around with a bare lead and just see if I can find anything that's yeah, feeling quite juicy in there. And I might just underarm a rod down in that quiet little secluded corner for the night, but not too sure yet. We'll see how the evening pans out and see if they give themselves away, and that might make my decision for me. But yeah, gonna have the rods in the next hour, put that left hander back down this margin, decide what I want to do with the right one, put a couple of handfuls of creamino pellet over the top to see me through the night, and yeah, we'll see if we can get ourselves another fish for the video. So I'm just going to soak up a little bit of this sun. We've had a really wet, horrible, manky day. I've just been trying to dry off bits and pieces as the sun's breaking through the tree line, trying to dry a few bits off. And yeah, like I say, just appreciate the beautiful evening. and we can see how it pans out from there. Now back out. So what have I done? Left-hander has obviously gone underneath the tree that I had the fish from earlier, so that was a given. I've just kind of redone the solid bag, just lowered it down. That's gone down absolutely bang on. Right-hander, I have put it out to sort of the mouth of that sort of little sort of divot in the reeds there. Now the fish were fizzing up sort of all along this line earlier, from the corner of the island sort of over to these reeds. And not only that, obviously I put a solid bag over to the reeds here when one showed, so I reckon there's a bit of a patrol route maybe sort of in and around this area, coming in and around maybe into this bay underneath me feet, down into this area where I've got obviously my left-hander. So yeah, I've underarmed a solid bag over to that area. I've been round, walked round, and just put sort of a light scattering of Creamino pellet as well, just to see me through the night. And I've also put a light scattering just underneath this tree as well. I do like to just put a little bit of bait out, because obviously you're not regularly recasting through the night. I tend to just leave the bags and let sort of the fish come onto them, but just knowing that I've got a little bit of bait around the solid bags just kind of gives them a bit more sort of longevity through the night, because they've got additional bait with them as well. Not too much, but enough to sort of, you know, draw the fish in and just keep them rooting around. So that's what I've done with both the rods. The sun is just starting to set, and there are rumblings of thunder sort of in the background as well, so hoping that doesn't materialise into anything. And it's looking that it could be a clear night, so I've managed to get a lot of the stuff dry, which is always good. So yeah, now it's just down to the fish to hopefully rattle off with one of them two through the hours of darkness. I'm going to get myself some food on the go. I'm absolutely starving, and hopefully next time I get the camera back out, I'm cradling a nice big fat 25 plus carp. Fingers crossed. Well, good morning. It's a little after 6:30, and yeah, what a wet and uneventful night. It felt like it just rained all night. We had that rumbling of thunder move over, and then the heavens just opened, and yeah, I was pretty much just bivvy bound from dark. Didn't get to sort of stand out and just watch over the lake, or, you know, just look for any sort of signs of showing fish, anything like that. Yeah, just literally bivvy bound. Made myself some tea, and just got my head down really until I sort of fell asleep. It was a bit of a toss and turning night, so yeah, unfortunately nothing happened. But this morning the weather is looking a lot clearer, as you can tell. It seems like the storm has passed through, and might be a chance of actually being able to dry a few bits off. My net and mat was absolutely wringing wet, and I've been down and just re-dipped that, because yeah, like I say, I had a fish yesterday and it's just wringing wet and just minging, so I've been and re-dipped it. Not only that, it's because I've got another session later on this evening, Sunday evening, for 48 hours. So yeah, just wanted to get that all clean and tidy, all washed up, ready to take away for my for my next session. But unfortunately they have just remained where they were last night. I'm in two minds what to do, whether to redo the solid bags and just leave them or not. So yeah, I don't really know what I want to do yet, but I think I'm just going to finish this coffee, maybe just like I say, get them in, whip up some fresh bags, some fresh pellet inside them, put them back out and see what the next few hours has in store. I do have to be off by 10 o'clock, so I do have to get this lot packed down as well. So we will see how the morning goes, but for now I'm just going to enjoy this and we'll catch up in a little while. To the last 20 minutes of the session. As always, rods upside down, milking every last minute, and everything is pretty much packed down on the barrow in some sort of orderly fashion. Gonna have to have a big sort out before I head out again tonight onto my next 48 hours. So yeah, if you got this far, thanks for watching. Obviously there's a bit of excitement at the start of the session, but yeah, I don't know if all that rain that we had yesterday and all through the night just sort of killed things off a bit, even though I was sort of hearing shows in this little hearing fish in this little bay here last night. Just really didn't materialise into anything. So I'm happy to walk away with a 20-pounder. You know, it's all about consistency, catching sort of on every visit, and yeah, seems to be on a little bit of a good run of form lately. So I hope I haven't jinxed myself going into yeah, my next 48 hours later on. So yeah, fingers crossed that luck continues. But as I say, they'll remain out for the last sort of 20 minutes or so, and then we will get ourselves off home. So if you got this far, thank you for watching. As always, like all my other videos, come and get in touch over on my social media. Ask me any questions about the venue, how I've approached it, anything like that I can do to try and help you, I will. So like I say, thanks for watching. Keep your eyes out for me my next session. I'll have yeah, a couple of videos to edit once I get home from that one. So as I say, thanks for watching, and I will catch up with you guys soon.